Hey there, hi
Hey,
there.
everybody.
Welcome to Tuesday night Q&A. I'll get it right in a minute. We are pleased to be with you once again. Melissa, grateful that you are here with us, and hope you and everyone else has had a great new year, good start to the new year. Was kind of uh, kidding around on Twitter, talking about the new year. Let me find it here.
Twitter's become an interesting place here recently.
Yes, it has. Here we go. Let me see if I can get this up here right quick.
Chop, chop.
I know I'm slow. Got a lot of buttons to hit. StreamYard
I
does not
always
make
say,
this easy.
oh, I always say chop, chop. Then Clay's like, go away. I saw
I
that. Yep.
reposted I reposted this talking about the year starting really well. You had an earthquake, tsunami, plane crash, geopolitical fuckery, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you've got Russia launched a bunch of missiles into Kiev. Israel took out a major Hamas leader. Hamas is threatening major retaliation. So let's see what's in store for the next couple of days. It
We'll
has uh,
see.
it has been an interesting start. So, but I hope everybody out there is doing well. Joined tonight, obviously, with the lovely, gracious, sweet E Train.
He doesn't always say sweet. So I was like, huh?
I am not always the most, what's
Graceful,
the word I'm looking for?
tactful,
Graceful individual.
tactful.
Tactful is not
Or,
something
yeah.
I'm called a lot.
Nope.
So I try. My daughter labored mightily with me for 18 years till she moved out to try to improve that aspect. And I have
She'd had
made
enough.
progress, believe it or not. Yeah, I have made progress, believe it or not.
I'm having the
So,
dropsies. Sorry.
yeah, speaking of dropsies, you had a major one yesterday.
It wasn't yesterday. It was the day before yesterday. So we have this chili cookout in our neighborhood on New Year's Eve. And several people make chili. Usually Clay and I just bring like cheese and sour cream and such. And we, our neighbors are in their 70s. Oh no. Um, and so, Clay and I always hang around and help clean up. That's just kind of what we do. After washing everything, I went upstairs. We have a couple, like, in case the dogs have an accident, and they did while we were gone. And I was trying to avoid the accident, and I stepped over, and the heel of my boot just went out from under me, and I fell down about 7 stairs. That was fun. I'm in
Yeah,
so much pain.
she didn't tumble. She more like bumped her way down the steps.
My butt and my head and everything else. And my hands were full too. And I was just like, what do I do? They had to come rescue me from the landing.
Oh, she was so mad she kicked me out of the way.
Was that? It's like, I'm just trying to go down the stairs. This is not, we have an elevator. Clay's like, why don't you use it? I'm like, thanks.
So, so yeah, that was quite the event when it happened. It was
So I've got bruises on my back of my head, my back, my hiney. May have twisted my ankle, just still kind of hobbling around on that. So I'll be fine. Just one more
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, the year has definitely not started out as anticipated. So
No, and whatever you're dealing with, sweet girl, we love you. And I'm sorry.
yeah, I have talked for the last several months about how, things in the world seem to be trending towards more and more chaos. And, we likely will experience some of that repercussion in our own lives. Not trying to be a Debbie Downer at the turn of the new year. Everybody's hopeful and excited. And I really do hope and pray that everybody has a blessed new year.
Absolutely.
But, we try to present you the view of the things going on in the world that we think are relevant. And the events in the world kind of dictate that. So
They do.
we
And
will,
Melissa,
we will continue along.
my nickname is not Grace for nothing. Like, I have none. I drop things, I fall, I do. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, good Lord.
My already pitiful salary was cut in half during the SAG strike, and I was told it would return to normal starting January the 1st. Today, I found out my boss decided to renege on that promise.
That's not cool.
No,
You know,
definitely not.
Wilmington is called Wilmywood. We're the East Coast Hollywood. We have quite a few movies going on around here.
Yeah, I don't.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Sometimes people just suck. Sometimes it's out of their hands. Sometimes it's a combination of both. I just don't know. But I am sorry for you. I know that's difficult, particularly
Is there a way?
time.
Sorry. There are a few shows that kind of went on without, even with the strikes. Is there a way to go work for one of those? Like, I don't mean, I think Bill Maher he's one of those Democrats that is sort of like the old Democrats, 90s Democrats that kind of has like a brain in his head. And I know he just kept going with his show. Drew Barrymore apologized for starting hers back. But is there anything like that you could get involved in? I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah, we just care about you. We want you doing well. If you pick up some dog treats brands, we will be a faithful and loyal customer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this would be a good opportunity to try to expand your side gig. And for those of you that don't know, Melissa has a site called lovepugcircus.com. Has some really cute teas, some things for your dog.
And on Etsy, she's got at least 1 or 2 pieces of jewelry, which is really cool. So can you put that in the comments, Clay, the link, or show it? There you go. And do both. Chunkers, no. He's jealous.
He's always jealous when something besides him gets attention and it's nighttime and he's not chasing the round spherical object. Yeah, she's got some really cute tees. She's got some accessories, different apparel, and mugs.
Yeah. Please support Melissa. We love her.
Yeah, we do. She's good people. And if you need something or like something along those lines, give her some business.
Yeah, we got, you let us know. We will. Junk. I don't have what you're looking for. I don't have the ball. It's downstairs. You left it downstairs.
Yeah. If anybody has any ideas of something to retail through the site that would be cute or interest, let her know. She's got let me see. There's a contact.
She's got a great following on Facebook and Etsy and all the things. So, if you guys have something that she could resell for you,
Yeah, you can
that would be awesome.
contact her via the website. So hit her up.
We all
So what else
need
is?
some help sometimes, to get
Well,
through the hard times.
yeah, we all get by with a little help from our friends.
Yes, we do.
So enjoying the show with a big fat mimosa. Sounds like a good way to do it. Hey there, Sky Ricky. Listen,
We're all confused.
when you say I thought today is Wednesday, literally my calendar has been off for a week, 2 weeks. I keep thinking I can't get the days right. If I'm not going to work every day, I really just lose track.
No doubt. I'm going
And
to
Carson. Welcome, Carson.
Chuck, what are you doing, honey? Sorry, he's losing his mind. I have nothing for you up here. Sorry.
Carson, I'm here to kick bubblegum and chew ass, and I'm all out of ass. Glad to have you, Carson.
Well, you better kick some bubblegum then. Chew some bubblegum. Chunk, wait.
What is he wanting?
I have no idea. There's nothing up here.
He's coming in loud and clear.
I'm trying to pin the comment or the stop it. Pin the if I can find pin the website for Love Pug Circus at the top of the comments, but I've got to find just ignore me for a minute.
Yeah, I'll remember she said that because when I do that, sometimes she gets mad. Doesn't matter what I'm going to do. It's going to be wrong.
No. Get this. Pin message. There we go. So if anybody, Melissa's, going through some hard times with her contracts. And if you guys have any ideas or want to help her resell or want to buy something from her store, I just pinned the link to the top of the chat.
Yeah, she's good people. We love Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
She is good people. Now, tonight's Tuesday night Q&A from y'all, or, I actually have, some people asking some questions now on occasion. It's good to see some of that coming in. Got a question this week about what to do if you have a high interest rate card or cash to pay them off. So let me throw Melissa's comment up here. I love doing custom artwork and projects.
There you go.
So when you say custom artwork and projects, if somebody sends you like a picture of their dog.
Clay is trying to get a swoop so bad, and I have failed him. And so did Nicole with ADHD. We'll pay you.
Well, what I was actually thinking was, could they get it imprinted on a T-shirt?
That too.
With Morky Slave or whatever.
So Morky talks too much.
Yeah. We need a Morky gag.
We need a Morky translator.
Yeah.
She said yes.
Yes.
Oh. Clay and I are fighting each other on this one.
Yeah, this one.
Awesome. So guys, if you have any ideas, you can contact Melissa through the pinned link in the chat. And just, let them know if you know of it, a group of, if you're a part of a group of a dog club or whatever, let her know, reach out to her. How about that?
Sounds good.
We help each other in this community.
Now, as I was saying, got the question, you have a high credit card balance, high interest rate, but you've got some cash put aside. Do you save the cash? Do you pay down the debt? So it's a fair question. it's not, to me, a simple, straightforward, always direct answer. For example, my answer would say start with where are you? List your cards, the balances, and the interest rate for each. Now you start haggling. It's okay, and it sometimes works to call your card provider or bank and ask for a lower rate. Thank you for moving the mic down there.
If I have to listen to what you guys do too, I'm sorry.
No, come on. We are professionals.
It is kind of funny though.
Yeah. Kind of hard to make a point while all that chaos is going on. So it's okay for you to start haggling. Works to call your credit card provider, your bank, and ask for a lower rate. A lot of people don't know they can do this, but sometimes it works. So, do you have a good credit score? Have you made payments on time for a while and above the minimum? You have a case to argue with them. Now, some banks will lower your rate. Now, if not, you can also look at transferring the balance to a new card. Many new cards will give you 0 interest rate for a year or 2 years just to transfer a balance to them. Now, you also want to be aware and see if there are any fees or charges to transfer a balance, but this can be a way to, really cut your interest cost for a year or two. Now,
I have friends who do that every year. They just flip the balance to the next 0 interest. Yeah.
Now, once you've done that, you know better where you stand. And now's the tricky part. Is it better to pay off the balance immediately or keep making payments, non-minimum payments? Some people like Dave Ramsey will say, have no debt, pay it off. I'm not there. My views are a little bit different, but I also understand this is not purely a financial decision. Some people feel extremely uncomfortable with debt. Not to get all preachy, but, Paul wrote to the Romans, what is not of faith is sin. And to me, I always understood that is that if you're not comfortable with something, don't do it. So not every decision is a purely financial decision. If you're uncomfortable with debt, follow that lead. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's say you have, savings in just a regular savings account, right? But your interest in a credit card is 22%. Is it wiser to go ahead and pay it off as much as you can with what's in savings, or to keep paying the 22% and getting maybe 2.5% in your savings account?
Well, I'm about to show you.
Oh, cool. Look at that. I predicted.
But the bottom line here, it's really a matter of what gives you the most comfort or peace. Financially, you're probably better off making the payments and keeping your money invested. But there can be a risk to that. You could have the market risk, but you've always got the purchasing power risk and the risk that you may need some savings for an emergency. So let me show you this. This is just a quick sheet that I did. Try to get the numbers a little bit bigger. A quick sheet that I did to try to compare the two alternatives, the two basic alternatives. Here, I've got, say, a $10,000 balance in a savings account or investment account. My monthly payment on the credit card is $500, as much as I can pay. My interest rate on the credit card is 24%, and my return on my investment is 12%. Okay. Now, here I've got, if I leave the $10,000 invested month by month, what happens to it over time, every month? Then I've got the card payment. What if I make payments on the card? Here is the net debt balance after interest. So as you can see, month by month, the debt balance goes down. The savings account goes up.
That's a 24% interest.
Yeah. And then here's my net worth, my net balance, which is the investment minus the debt balance. So over
I'm not
time,
quite grasping this.
okay, what I'm saying is, what happens if you save your investment, keep the money invested, put it in a stock index fund,
Right.
earns 12% historically, and you make payments of $500, you have a $10,000 balance on your credit card, and you're paying $500 a month on it.
What is okay, so your credit card balance is 10,000.
Yes. And you have
What is
10,000 in savings.
Okay, so that's okay, you just put the one, so
So
I
you've got a
wasn't sure.
choice. You can pay it all off, start saving $500 a month, or you can invest the 10,000 and just use the $500 a month to pay the credit card down.
So,
which is
okay.
what I've pictured here. So here's the balance on your credit card going down
Right.
every month as you make payments. This is the combination, this is the difference between the investment and your credit card balance. So 10,100 minus 9,700 is $400.
Right.
And this is just month by month.
So, you know, I'm gonna totally mess with this, right? I
No,
know you
you're
can
not.
do it. Yeah. What if you put
Well,
5,000 on the credit
Ellen,
card?
let me explain it first, and then we'll talk about
Okay.
changes.
Okay.
ADD.
I get ahead of myself. I'm sorry. It's a
Yes.
thing.
It's all right. So if you follow this strategy, leaving your money invested, paying $500 a month on the credit card balance, what you will have a net value in 1 year is $5,000. In 2 years, you have 11,000, nearly 12,000. In 10 years, you have 110,000. So this would be contrasted with having zero in savings and investing $500 a month, which I forgot to put that up. But that would come to about $115,000. So,
Thank you, Sky Reiki.
thank you, Sky. So the idea is, at the end of time, it's not a great difference in terms of your investment return or net worth 10 years down the road. The main difference is here the first couple of years, you've got some liquid cash. You are paying a high interest rate on this balance. So that's really what accounts for the net difference here. But there may be situations where if you're worried about times getting tough, you know, you may want to have some liquid cash. Flip side is you can pay off your credit card and then put the bills on the credit card if you have additional bills. So economically, financially, there's not a big difference between the two choices. So really, it's just a matter of what is more convenient to you. Now, flip side is if, instead of 500 a month, you're doing 300 a month and you earn 8% per year, then all this changes. Let me see. This turns into 91,000. So still not a big difference between the two.
So when does the credit card get paid off then? And if the interest rate goes up, is that a
I mean, it
problem?
all changes. Yeah, you can run infinite number of scenarios.
This
If the
scenario,
interest rate,
go ahead.
if the interest rate goes up, your return on investment goes down, this gap widens. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, this isn't a final answer, but it's giving you some information. Which one are you more comfortable with? Are you more comfortable with having some liquid cash? And, there are times where maybe you see a really good investment opportunity and you think you can do better than 12% for a few years. That, it just depends on your comfort level and level of information you've got. Bottom line is it's not going to greatly impact your net based on, 24% interest, 10, 8, 10, 12% return. It's not going to greatly impact your future either way, either difference. Question.
Yes. Am I allowed?
Yeah, that's what I said. Question.
Hang on. I got a Pop sent me a message.
Ellen.
Yes. If you put 5,000 into the credit cards, okay, of your savings, all things being equal, how would that turn out?
You mean out of the 10?
Mm-hmm. You paid 5,000 down.
It still wouldn't greatly impact a big difference 10 years from now.
Okay.
So.
And Melissa, you are very welcome, and I know everyone here loves you and supports you, and I know that we will do everything we can. I may actually send you a picture or a digital graphic that Zanzitar did for me of Tallulah. Get you to put that on something.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta admit.
And
I hope she's doing well. Hadn't heard from her in a while.
I think, we won't go there. But I think that we've got some hats coming in. Maybe we can do something with those too, Melissa. They should be here in the next few days.
So we'll try to work on some things, see if we can't help develop a little bit better business. Anything, obviously it won't be a whole lot, but enough people kind of chip in and help and add a little bit here, add a little bit there, maybe it'll end up making a difference for you.
I hope so.
Now, speaking of savings, I've talked about for the past few months also how people are spending their savings and taking money out of their 401ks.
Bad idea. I know you have to sometimes, but you already get penalized just for taking it out.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve, the San Francisco Fed, released a paper the other day talking about the difference between actual savings and the pre-recession trends, which they call excess savings. So having to define the words here, excess savings, that excess amount over the normal trend, historic trend, kind of a theoretical number, but nonetheless, it was significant in terms of dollars. If you look at it over the pandemic. Here you can see pretty much where the savings started and then what happened during the pandemic with the COVID stimulus and the payments. You can also see what's been happening since. People have been spending, taking money out of their savings to support their spending.
Now, why would they do that, Clay?
Because their income's cut, because they want more stuff than what they can afford, whatever. Their bills have grown, their income hasn't.
There you go. That's what I was trying to get to, is that the price of everything has gone up.
It can be a number of reasons.
Incomes have not.
Yeah, we know families that have seen their, income cut, but their level of spending hasn't. And,
that's true.
There's a big hole that's being dug.
There's a hole.
It can be, there's a hole. It can be any number of things. And as you can tell, the total amount accumulated was about 2.1 trillion. This is now down to about 0.4 trillion. And is being reduced by about 75 billion a month. So if that 75 billion a month continues, the money will run out somewhere around March.
And Melissa, yes, pugs have needs. And poodles and morkies, and they all have their needs, and that it's a thing.
Irish wolfhounds.
Oh Lord, yes, Irish. We got to get him back. We got to put him on a live stream. Thor. Thor's something. He's a beast. Actually, there was a quiz game I was doing, and they said, "What is the tallest dog in the world?" I was like, "I know this. Irish Wolfhound, no doubt."
Yeah, when he was 8 months old, when I took him in. A guy surrendered him. I used to do some, large dog kind of rehome rehabbing. And he was neurotic. He had like about chewed his tail to where it was a bloody mess, and skinny and little like I would give him a bowl of water, he would attack it because he was scared he wouldn't get any for a while.
He was kept in like a 6-foot cage.
Yeah.
For all day, every day. It was very disconcerting.
Yeah. But I remember the first day I brought him home, I, had some snacks or whatever, and I put him up top on the refrigerator. And, of course, he was with me smelling the snacks. He saw right where I put them. And I went around the corner of the kitchen into the den, and I heard some commotion, turned back around and peered around. He was on top of the refrigerator grabbing the snacks off. He was 8 months.
He is not a small dog. He is like, Clay would send me pictures before I met Thor, and I was just like, yeah, okay, he's a big boy. When I met him, his head is bigger than mine. And he would come up to me when I was sleeping and put his head right. I'm like, oh my God, it scared the crap out of me. This is a big dog. Then he would crawl in bed with Clay and just push me off. Like, you got to go, chicken.
Yeah, the people that I homed him with is actually a guy I work with. I love them, great people. They're vegans, and they have fed him largely a vegan menu, some meat, but he's about 160. If he had been on a normal diet, he probably would have been closer to 190. But it's a good thing because he's 6 years old now. He's got a little arthritis maybe in one of his hips, but he's still in really good shape, and being thin makes it a lot easier on his hips and joints. Their normal life expectancy is 6, so he's going to, pretty much go through that. But he's in a home where he's loved. They actually had I took him into the office one day. It was summer right before, school started. So he was going in and out of all the offices saying hey to everybody. He's a friendly as hell. And he went into Pete's office, and Pete just loved him. Well, they had a chocolate lab that was on its last legs. I mean, really struggling. And Pete wanted Thor. His wife was kind of a little hesitant about getting another dog. She didn't really know anything about Thor specifically, but she agreed to consider it. So I dropped him off one afternoon for him to kind of, make introductions and spend the night. Well, he's an outgoing critter, and he met, a couple of the boys and a daughter, and there was one son that was upstairs sick. So they took him upstairs to meet the sick boy. And Thor, bounds over to the bed. He was still a puppy, bounds over to the bed and, sniffs him. The boy pets him and, is glad to see him, whatever. Well, Thor climbs in his bed and stays with him. And the wife is like, okay, he's ours. But that's Thor. And so, the lab actually gained kind of a second burst of energy, lived for another 2 or 3 years, and they were just always together, side by side.
I'm trying
Lab died.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Lab died a year or two ago, and they actually got a little kitty. And I have a picture of the little kitty sitting under Thor's head between his legs. They're apparently best friends now. So he's just a funny dog.
And he hangs out outside with chickens all day. He loves it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that. No. Trying to find the video of Thor and Tallulah.
I've got it on my phone. I'll have to
well, I do too, but I can't figure out which one it is here.
Yeah, Thor's.
Continue on.
Thor's a hoot. All right, we're talking about excess savings. Why do people keep spending when the savings are gone? Well, we know where they're getting the money from. But what happens in March when the money runs out or gets to zero or near zero? Are we looking at a beware the Ides of March? Beware the Ides of March. Do y'all know where that comes from?
I used to, but I'm busy right now. So.
Several people are probably going to say, Julius Shakespeare, Caesar. Julius Shakespeare.
What?
William Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare.
Julius Caesar. Well, the history behind that is actually there was a seer who, Caesar was holding audience or whatever, and there was a seer that stood up and predicted harm to Caesar on the upcoming Ides of March. And obviously that got, Caesar's attention. And so now the Ides, to the Romans, the Ides was the middle of the month. So around the 15th. And Caesar kept the seer, nearby, and on the Ides, they were walking to Pompey's theater, which is where he was assassinated. And history has it that he mockingly told the seer, "Well, the Ides of March have come." To which the seer replied, "Aye, they are come, but not yet gone." Now, Shakespeare captured this with his, paraphrase, "Beware the Ides of March." And that's kind of the background of it. I think it's also where we got the term backstabbing from Brutus plunging the knife in Caesar.
Was it Brutus or Antony? Brutus?
Et tu, Bruti. Brutus.
Et tu, Brute, yeah.
Yeah. Carson. Aww. I went to get eggs a couple weeks ago, and the farmers had some cats that had been dropped off at their place. Their 4-year-old brought one of the kittens to me. I now have an emotional support kitten. Good for you.
I have an emotional support
Good for the kitty.
Puppy.
2 of them.
I did email you that video. If you want to see how gentle the big monkey is, the big Thor.
Oh, you're talking about me?
yeah, husky who seemingly wanted to eat. That's sort of an instinct, but yeah, I think Thor thought Tallulah was a guinea pig. Just saying.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet. It's apparently taken a minute to ship through.
It was 11 megabytes, so I know it's
Yeah,
this is my
take a minute.
emotional support puppy. And during COVID, when no one was allowed to go in with you, like I had to get a shot in my knee, they said either I come or she brings her dog, her emotional support dog. So you got to figure it out. And they were like, all right, you can come. instead of my puppies. Yes, she's a good girl.
She is sweet. But as far as the Ides of March, at least now all of you are better prepared to play Trivia Pursuit. So you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
There was also Chuck's jealous.
Sorry.
There also was more news out today. The ISM survey came down. It's a manufacturing index survey. And the way the numbers reported, 50 means there's no change from the previous month. If it's below 50, it has dropped. If it's above 50, it has gained.
What's this index again? I'm sorry.
ISM.
What does that mean?
I've
got this one whining, so I can't hear everything you're saying.
Yeah. It's. Well, I'm sorry. What was the question?
What does ISM mean? Chunk is whining.
Well, ISM is the Institute for Supply Management, and they produce this report every month on manufacturing and service in the country. They take a survey and then publish the results. So their manufacturing survey came out. It dropped to 47.9, which means manufacturing is shrinking.
Is that in the U.S. or all over the world?
In the U.S. Only in the U.S. That makes it down for 10 out of 12 months this year. Orders contracted. So they fell, the sharpest rate in over 6 months. Payrolls in manufacturing shrunk, contracted for the third month in a row. And prices increased at the fastest rate since April. So, not a good report overall. Which,
right,
talking about inflation, I don't know how many of you are on Twitter, but posted this the other day on shrinkflation, the art of paying more for less. And these are just some examples that I stole from the well-known interwebs. Now, I really can't, I don't know why. Twitter doesn't allow me to blow up the pictures. But if you look, the Dawn bottles look identical.
One's much smaller, though.
All of, same basic curve, shape, whatever. Very, very close. The one on the left has 221 milliliters or 75 fluid ounces. The one on the right has 192 milliliters or 65 fluid ounces. So that's almost a 13% cut in amount. And I'll bet you the price hadn't changed. Here's another way shrinkflation. This little indentation in the bottom of bottles for Gatorade keeps getting bigger and bigger. These are 2 packages of soap. One is 1,200 milliliters. Whoops. The other one got cut off. But I think, oh geez, what was it? Was it 1050, 1,050 milliliters? It was a pretty significant cut as well. Sorry, I cut off the picture there. Arm & Hammer detergent. went from 107 loads to 105 loads. Again, no real discernible change in the bottle. You can tell it's a little smaller, but no real discernible change in the bottle. Also found a few more. This is fabric softener. Went from 752 grams to 680 grams. And then, of course, Betty Crocker. Of all the things to reduce, the last thing you want reduced is the size of desserts. But 18.3 ounces to 16.3. So nearly, again, an 11 or 12% cut.
This will do it.
Yep, indentation on the bottle of my Prosecco. You know, those are hard to see and hard to measure, but it makes a great way to shrink the amount. What used to be a pound bag of M&Ms is now 10 ounces. And
yep, 10 and 16 are not the same.
No, and they don't tell you. You know, it's the same. Well, it irritates me, and it's not illegal, but it ought to be disclosed.
It's deceptive, is what it is.
It is. It is. And that irritates the hell out of me. Time for cross shift. Well, good luck.
I don't know what that means. Go get your kitten.
And congrats on the new baby.
Did you get the email yet?
Let me check. Yep.
Did you do the sound thing? Nope.
Hold on.
Hang on.
I have to restart it. This is just irritating, but nonetheless.
Necessary.
All right. Y'all ready for this? This is Thor, and he was probably about 140 pounds here, and this was Tulu, about the same size she is now. He's like, he doesn't really quite know what to do with her.
He's like guinea pig.
I've actually got a video of them running and playing and chasing. And so I will try to upload that sometime. But this is Thor. He's just big old ugly mutt. But he is sweet.
His whole head is bigger than she is. But she's not afraid. She's like, all right, biggin, come on, let's play. And he is so gentle.
He is.
She's like, I'll take you down, big guy. You're done. He's like, really? She's like, no, really, play with me. I'll bite you. I'll get you. He's like, I'm not really that scared of you, but
that's Thor, and we love him. He's got a really good home, and I had him probably for 5 months, 6 months, and just, really, main thing I did with him was just let him become a dog. Dogs have a great way of healing from past hurts. They just need, food, some attention, exercise, some love, and just let him become a dog. He still gets a little antsy when he's inside all the time. He much prefers, if the weather's decent, to be outside, and he'll just lay in the sun, just sprawl out in the yard or whatever. But he's a good dog. If I didn't travel so much, and this was before Ellen came, didn't have anybody here to keep him company. So didn't have anybody here to keep him company, but he's a dog that I would have kind of probably loved to have kept. But the way I traveled and nobody else here to keep him company, and I would work long hours, long days. So it just wasn't feasible for me to have a dog.
He's a gentle giant. But I got to ask you, Clay, my mic keeps getting muted. Is that you?
No,
It's happened like 6 times, and I'm trying to figure
really?
out what's going on. Okay.
Nope, haven't touched it. Sorry.
Listen, what a sweet. No, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Listen, what a sweetheart. And Green Bean would love him. Listen, most dogs love him.
Yeah.
He is a little bit intimidating when you first meet him. We have a neighbor who is like 5'2", and he's just standing almost her height. And she was like, "Oh my God." He's big. He's taller than any Great Dane you've ever met. He's just huge.
Yeah.
Chunk is out there because I told him he could not stay up here and keep whining and barking.
So you let him come down here where you can whine and bark.
Yeah. Because I'm like, you're shaking everything. You're jumping on everything. I don't know what else to do.
Anybody want to adopt a dog? We have another emotional support animal available.
This is what happens when your children tell you they want a dog. They want to keep one of the puppies that your dog had. And then you have the dog. We love Chunk 2 pieces. I mean, but he just never shuts up. Love him to death, but he talked this morning. I mean, literally, and I don't mean to be odd or weird, but I get this right in my face, like right here. I'm like, dude, like, come on. Let a person sleep. He's so full of personality.
At 5:30 or 6 in the morning, he is good to go. He's ready to go. He wants to go outside and get his little treat. Then he'll lay down and nap while you're
after up. He wakes everybody up.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, it's time for me to go back to sleep.
Yeah, he is definitely an interesting little critter.
Mm-hmm. He gets up with the rooster.
And then he goes back to sleep. That's the irritating thing.
Clay has left for work sometimes and said, don't let him sleep all day. I'm like, how am I supposed to stop him?
Keep an ice pick handy.
Oh, and it's mean. Don't be like that.
If he had one, he'd be using it in the mornings.
He would. Yeah, no doubt.
So shrinkflation. Kind of inflation is still with us, kind of the art of how to pay more for less, particularly without knowing about it. But it's real and it's happening. So, inflation is still with us. Keep that in mind. It is not defeated. Just like in the ISM report, prices are starting to accelerate. Some prices are starting to accelerate. Shipping rates due to all the conflict in the Gulf of Hormuz, causing shipping rates to jump up, which ends up impacting a ton of different things.
Clay, there's no inflation. The economy's fine. It's just our imaginations.
Thank you, Ms. Biden.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still going on. And, with the Fed are indicating that it's going to cut rates, backing off QT some, that's probably a little bit more of an encouragement to further inflation. People are still getting wage increases, which haven't been reflected in wholesale prices, retail prices yet. There still may be supply chain disruptions with the additional shipping crisis, with the wars going on. China is blocking coal exports. Ukraine's going to have a much lower wheat harvest. So there's a lot of things going on in the world. Speaking of the Fed, a lot of attention has been focused on the Fed pivot. The pivot
to what?
The pivot to lower rates. It's gaining a lot of attention. So what is a Fed pivot. It's the moment when the Fed changes the direction of interest rates. So we've been in a period of rising interest rates, which haven't risen over the past 4 or 5 months, but have stayed high, haven't changed. So we would kind of define that as a Fed pause. So we've seen the period of higher rates in QT, quantitative tightening, which encourages higher rates. We talked about that last Saturday. Yes, ma'am.
Before you get too far into this, Melissa, I'm afraid that if we did do the talking buttons for Chunk, he would never shut up. I want to go out, give me a treat, wake up, go away. I want some love. I mean, it would just be constant. He would never stop. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it would be cute for the first few nights, but once he got the hang of it,
he just never shuts up. He just doesn't. It's constant. We are glad. Thank you, Melissa. We love you to pieces. You know that. And I hope that you are laughing and giggling and learning something and just embracing that. Yes, sometimes life sucks, but we're going to do our best to try to make yours better.
And honestly, y'all make ours a little better.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of the whole idea of family. Now, we have seen, as I mentioned, an era of rising rates in QT, which encourages higher rates. Over the past few months, we've seen a pause, the Fed pause. The Fed hasn't started lowering rates or resuming QE, which when they do, that would be the actual pivot, the Fed pivot. Now they've been
quantitative easing, right?
Yes, quantitative easing. And remember, the difference in the two is just the direction of money. In quantitative easing, the Fed is buying securities, bonds, treasury bonds, agency bonds, mortgages. So they're buying the security and the money is going out into the market. Quantitative tightening is just the opposite. They own the security. And so either they sell it to the market, pull that money out, or they just hold that bond till it matures. And that money, they don't take it and spend it. They just, let it stay there at the Fed. Both, one increases the money supply, increases liquidity. Quantitative tightening reduces the money supply, reduces liquidity. So up until a couple months ago, they were doing QT. Well, the last couple months, as pointed out the last show, largely as a result of the BTFP, the Bank Term Funding Program, they've been buying assets from banks. Remember, we showed how the banks are able to sell assets, borrow money from they don't sell, they actually posting collateral, borrow money from the Fed at 4.8% right now. And then they leave that money with the Fed, put it on deposit, a reserve account, and the Fed is paying 5.4%. So there's a 60, 70 basis point spread right there. They capture just free money. So banks are seeing that and starting to take more advantage of it. So they're borrowing more from the Fed. So actually QT, which is has been reducing the Fed's balance sheet. Actually, the BTFP is increasing the Fed balance sheet, the assets held by the Fed. So more money going into the economy. When Fed assets rise, more money is going into the economy. When Fed assets fall, money's coming out of the economy. So when they lower or cut rates, that will be the pivot. Now, a full, complete pivot would be cutting rates and QE, another QE program where they buy securities. Now, when the Fed is actively doing both, its goal is to drive rates down and increase asset prices. When they do that, it's known as the Fed put, which is kind of a funny name. Became famous under the Bernanke Obama regime. Yellen continued it when she was the chair of the Federal Reserve. When the market would drop, the Fed would start a new buying round of securities. So pump more money into the market buying assets, causing asset prices to rise. So they were literally trying to keep the market from falling and pump more and more money into the system. That's one reason why the market grew so rapidly in the 2010s, even though the economy was generally pretty mediocre or poor. So the Fed was actually killing puts in the market. Hence it became known as the Fed put. So you've got the Fed actively manipulating market prices and rates, something it was not created to do, because the Fed micromanages the economy pretty damn poorly. Now, it creates asset bubbles, housing, in stocks, in bonds, which, as long as those bubbles don't burst, those holding the assets love it. You own a house, your price soared. You own a bond, price increase. You own stocks, the price increased. Picking out a stock in the 2010s was easy. Anything you bought was going up. Nobody really cared about earnings. Everything was going up. Now, for those who didn't hold these assets, those left behind, well, you know, the attitude was they should just generally shut up, shut the hell up, because the media damn sure isn't going to give them any time. Everybody in the media was making a killing off of it, so why would they want to ruin a good thing for them? Well, Jay Powell last month indicated that the Fed might cut 3 times in 2024. A single cut is a 25 basis point cut. So that would basically drop the Fed funds rate from about 5.4%, 5.375, to about 4.7% approximately. This got the market all hot and bothered. It rallied strongly for, a week or 2 weeks. And in response, several of the Fed board members tried to backtrack. They were like, we need to cool jets here. Now, to me, the Fed has zero business trying to move or limit market movements. And this kind of thing is, spurs a lot of the get rid of the Fed talk, which I got to admit, I have some problem with. There's a very popular book out called Jekyll Island, and I might do a separate show just on Jekyll Island. And Jekyll Island is full of myths and non-historical recounting of history. So I don't really recommend it unless you want to read a good work of fiction. But a lot of people read it and believe it's gospel in terms of how and why the Fed was created and how it runs. It just simply is historically terribly inaccurate. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Fed. The Fed has screwed up a bunch. And I go after the Fed a fair amount. But bottom line, it boils down to 2 choices. You can either have an independent group of people determining monetary policy, or you can have the president determining monetary policy through the Secretary of the Treasury, politicians. It's one or the other, as long as you have a national currency. I guess the third option would be to put everybody on a crypto coin like Bitcoin that no government controls. That may have some merit, but that's a whole separate discussion. We're not getting rid of the national currency. So either politicians control it or a relatively independent board controls it. Now, the problem to me with the independent board is that all of them are academicians. All of them are theoreticians. None of them have worked in a real bank or done actual lending, worked in money, commercial lending, deposits. So I think this provides a level of abstraction and kind of a God complex that we can manage the economy better than the economy could do unmanaged. And I think we've all seen the fruits of that labor. It's chaotic, it's uncertain. The poor and the middle class end up suffering, losing value. So I do have some problems with the Fed and the way it's run. The basic idea, though, I think is probably the best one, lesser of two evils. And again, we can do a show on Jekyll Island and, discuss that at greater length. But, my preference would be to see the Fed go to rules-based policymaking. There's a rule called the Taylor Rule, which takes GDP and inflation and, calculates it. It's a relatively simple calculation, but calculates what the Fed funds rate ought to be. And this is what we used largely in the 80s and early 90s. And we had one of the greatest, most prolonged economic expansions in our history, a minor recession. But the thing about using that rule, that formula to set the interest rates, everybody knows it. Everybody knows what to expect, and it tweaks it instead of jumping it around. And it tweaks it based on the latest responses of the economy. So to me, it provides a more stable basis for interest rate policy and takes it out of the hands of whimsical individuals. Now, I would still give the Fed the emergency powers. Like in 9/11, the whole economy was going to crash down. So the Fed cut rates to near zero in order to try to help banks, major institutions feel better about borrowing money to try to keep things going. I was CFO of a regional publishing company, and within 2 weeks, we had 2 years worth of contracts lined up. Within 2 weeks of 9/11, every contract was canceled. We had zero business. So the results would have been even more devastating had the Fed not been able to act in an emergency. So I still think the Fed, has the reputation as the lender of last resort and still should maintain that power. But as far as the everyday policy, the normal, non-emergency economic times, I'd prefer, more of a rules-based policy. But we can talk about that more. Now, in response to the market, pumping the week or two after Jay Powell made his comments, Atlanta's Bostic came out saying he only sees 2 rate cuts. Williams out of the New York Fed said that, the Fed group, Board of Governors isn't really discussing rate cuts. And, I'm like, what the hell, people? Are you or are you not? Are you going to? Are you not? Really, they shouldn't even be talking about hypotheticals or anything. They just should keep the hell out of trying to influence the market.
Yep.
But the Fed's going to cut, or at least the market's pretty convinced of it. It's like a 97% probability they cut by the end of March, at least 25 basis points. So if the Fed does pivot, what does that mean for the market? I think Ellen has a question.
No, I don't.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I want to tell you to look into your email again, but I'm sorry. I'm trying to donate more stuff. I know it's crazy. Just oh, can you hear that? Or is it just me?
I think that's just you. All right, let me see if I can get this up here. This is Carson with, is it
Now
Artemis?
this is Artemis and Marshmallow. I'm assuming the husky is Marshmallow and not the kitty cat, although that is a little bit backwards because the husky's white and I don't know. The husky should be Artemis and Marshmallow should probably be the kitty.
Yeah,
But that's
this
just
is
me.
Carson's show and tell.
It's so cute though. Can you
His
blow it
puppy
up a little bit?
with his new kitty.
Oh, the babies. That's so cute.
And that is a relatively new baby as far as the kitty. I think Carson said it was.
He just got it recently from
Said it was just a kitten that was given to him by a farmer.
an egg farmer.
Yeah.
Their 4-year-old brought the kitten. You can't say no to a 4-year-old ever. That's just not okay. Just saying, 4-year-olds are the best.
But a really, really cute.
And if they hand you a kitten, what do you guys? I'm sorry, no, 4-year-old. I don't care about that. No, you can't.
Yeah, and this show is modestly animal friendly. I don't know if y'all been able to discern that yet or not, but I remember
We
when we
do.
first. I
We love
remember
the
when we
puppies
first
and the
started.
kitties.
Somebody said you need to get rid of the dogs.
Oh,
And I'm
we
like,
don't like him.
yeah, I'm like, our show probably, isn't for you. The
Yeah.
dogs are just family, as irritating as they can be sometimes.
So Clay wants
That,
to get a Highland cow, and I'm like, no, they will just become pets and breed and be a thing. And yeah, congratulations, Carson. Yes, Melissa, that he's got his precious new baby kitty. Oh, yes, the Highland cow. No, you're gonna have 10,000 of them by the end of the day. And
that is a full-grown
yes.
miniature Highland cow.
Oh, my pug ass pet cow. They're stinking cute.
That's about as big as it gets.
Really?
Yeah,
They're that
that's
tiny?
a miniature.
Oh, that's like a pygmy goat. They're like dogs.
Yeah, it's a miniature Highland cow.
Oh yeah, he sends me pictures of these all the time, and I'm like, if you have one, you're gonna have 1,000 of them, and okay, it's a thing.
My idea is to kind of simplify my life, kind of do a little homesteading, kind of grow more of my own food.
He won't be able to do it. He loves every animal so much he will never be able to kill a chicken. He'll never be able to kill a cow.
No,
because the only ones that he wants are Highland cows. You'll never be able to do it.
Yeah, I can't kill something that I name.
Mm-mm. You have to name everything.
But we'll see.
Listen, when Tallulah had puppies, because I didn't want to get attached to him, I called him 1, 2, 3. The firstborn, second, and third. They was like, no, we got to give them names. I'm like, mm-hmm. Then we have to keep them. We just kept one. But yes,
and
the Highland cows are. He's just loud. He just talks a lot. He has so much to say.
That he does.
all the time. 2 in the morning, he has a thought. He's going to let you know what it is. True.
True.
Mhm.
Oh, crap.
Yes.
No, I just realized that I thought I had downloaded something and I did not.
Well,
So
that's
that's
not.
it's kind of somewhat irritating.
I
Seeing if
do
can-
think that Carson should get a Highland cow to add to his repertoire. I did used to have a lab, a cat, and a duck at the same time. And I used to have a picture of them sitting on the porch, just right beside each other, like it was a natural thing. They didn't hate each other. They didn't try to kill each other. They were just civil. We taught them, no, you don't eat this one and you don't eat that one. And everybody's fine.
All right, let me finish up with the Fed, and then I found the pics I was looking for.
Okay.
Marshmallow
is the cat.
Well, we tried.
But the dog is white. It looks like a marshmallow. So, oh, my pug. Like, okay. Artemis is the dog. I get that. I was hoping so. But Marshmallow he's not white and fluffy. We have no idea what the kitten is. They were,
Yeah, I don't understand people that just put cats or puppies in a bag and throw them out by the side of the road, or abandon them in the wild. I just don't.
Anyway. Right.
So if the Fed does pivot, which ultimately it will, what does that mean for the market? Bottom line. Now, funny thing is, a lot of pessimists in the market shifted. People who have been calling for a bear market, a down market for most of the year. When Jay Powell said they were going to pivot, they changed their opinion and said this was bullish for the market. Piper's Kenitritz, probably the most glum individual you ever meet, he issued a mea culpa and said that the rally will continue. This is, if you know the guy, this is kind of wow. Especially if you consider that historically, Fed rate cuts are not good for the market, which is kind of opposite from what you'd expect.
Yep.
But it's all about the timing. All about the timing. If you go back to the late 60s, the 70s, the 80s, thinking about this reminded me of one of my former secretaries, Marie, wherever you are, bless your heart. She was kind of, we had 3 secretaries. I had 3 secretaries, and she was kind of the head one. And when she would get hot, she would go to the thermostat and crank it all the way down to 60.
I feel her pain.
And then when she would get cold, she would go back and crank it up to 85, whatever was on the other end. And then when she would get hot, are you getting the idea?
I resemble that remark, Clay.
That was Marie with the thermostat. Bless her heart. Could not convince her just to set it on, 72 and let it kind of even out. No, nothing doing. But the Fed during the 70s and 80s was kind of like that with the thermostat. It could not make up its mind. Now, Volcker is the chair of the Fed that's always remembered because he hiked interest rates up to 14 and 15%. You think people are dying now when they're at 5.5%. You should have seen it when it was 15%. But he was trying to kill inflation once and for all. So under Burns and then Volcker, you had these big swings in interest rate, and you'd have inflation drop, then you'd have it crank up again, you'd have it drop, you'd have it crank up again. They never really did a good job finishing the work. Well, Greenspan comes in and he kind of implements the rules-based decision making I was telling you about. And, the markets had a great rally for nearly 20 years. But there are moments during this period since the 60s when the Fed pivoted. And we can look at those.
Real quick, Clay, can we bring up the book club? Because we just got 5 memberships gifted by you to not Carson, because I don't know what in the world he's got going on there. So let them know about the book club. And Carson, you're still welcome to come. We're gonna make the link out there, but
we have a book club that meets pseudo monthly. And this next week on the 9th, we're having the next gathering of the fellowship. We're going to talk about C.S. Lewis's Problem of Pain. A fascinating book, maybe a timely one with everything that's going on in people's lives in the world. But a lot of people wonder, why do I hurt so much? Is there a reason? Is there some positive outlet? Well, C.S. Lewis, in his own inimitable style, presents the view that there is, a reason, an explanation for the problem of pain. How can, you believe in a good world, or how can you believe in a good, perfect God and yet have people suffer so much? So it's a thoughtful book. Lewis is a thoughtful guy, but I think it's a terribly interesting book. I think it's modestly timely, and it is the one everybody voted for. Not everybody, but we had a poll, and it's the book that led the poll. So we are going to talk about and share thoughts on the problem of pain on the 9th.
Yeah. And let me welcome Kimberly McCowan, Deborah H.P., Lynn Britton, K-Rab, and Mick, not saying it, to the crew. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you all very much. So let's go back to the Fed pivots. Remember, pivots when they change policy. And in this case, we're talking about when they cut rates. Now, you'll notice the white line here is the interest rate, the Fed funds rate, which is the Fed's primary interest rate. This blue line, which you may have a little bit harder time seeing, is unemployment. So the key point is there's a pattern here. In 89, in 2001, in 08, and 19, every single time the Fed pivoted and started cutting rates, the market dropped significantly. Well, here we're not looking at the market, we're looking at unemployment. But if you'll notice, when the Fed starts cutting rates, unemployment starts increasing very consistently. In 70 to 74, in 79 and 81, in 88, 89, in 2001, in 2007 and 8, and again during COVID in 2020. The idea is that inflation, people say, oh, we're not inflation. We're not in a recession because inflation, isn't high. We're not in a recession because unemployment is not high. Well, the point of this is to show you that unemployment is a lagging indicator. The Fed is cutting rates because it's concerned of what is happening. So they start cutting rates to try to mitigate or mute the negative effects. Well, basically, a recession's already started. Companies don't lay people off in anticipation of a bad future. They wait till their sales have dropped, till profits are cut, and then they start laying people off. So unemployment rises after the recession has started. It doesn't lead recessions. So people who say, oh, unemployment, is still low, well, that's kind of not the best point you can make. Melissa, on another channel I follow, their book club also does movies. Could be fun to mix it up sometimes. Oh, hell
No
yeah.
doubt.
We can do Patton.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Clay. No.
Braveheart. Good Scottish movie.
I do love Braveheart. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, even, we're not going there again. Clay and I actually, over the Christmas break, watched Sound of Freedom. Whoa. We were both in tears. Sorry, Clay, but we were both crying, going.
I was just angry. I was just angry as hell and couldn't do a damn thing about it. It just made me mad. And why that doesn't get more attention today, it's just a movie you can't watch and not be impacted to some degree. But really,
go ahead.
Difficult movie to watch, but a good movie to watch.
I thought Clay might actually rip the television off the wall. Clay is a great supporter of women, females, and, just what females have to offer the world. And to see, boys and girls being abused that way, I thought he was going to lose his damn mind, to be honest. He thought I was going to lose mine, but that's a whole different story. My grandfather met Patton. Love Braveheart. Awesome.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It's
transitioning quickly.
Yeah, it's just tough to realize that kind of evil is going on in the world. And so many people who have the ability to do something about it, at least to some degree, and don't.
You see how Clay got his emotional support dog right there.
The little neurotic has been bothering me for a little while. Chuck, quit. All right.
He will never admit that he did that to get a little bit of love in to deal with that issue, but that's okay.
So, recession. I know. Transition's hard with some of these things.
Yes, you can. You can stream together on Discord. That would be kind of cool to set up. Somebody set up a Moffat on Money Discord. Because I got too much shit going on. Not many, very few people who actually are on YouTube like this set up their own stuff and they just do it. And then just invite us. Melissa, how you feel, love, about that? I'm on there. I can send you my username. That would be cool. We'll put you in charge of what movies you watch. How about that? Fair enough?
Just funny.
I'll look into it. Awesome. Appreciate that. That's awesome.
All right, a couple of the quick thoughts in closing on the Fed. What does it mean for the economy, for the markets if the Fed pivots? Talked about unemployment. So once the Fed starts pivoting, you can pretty much count on unemployment rising. Just
show me the money. Sorry.
Jerry Maguire. That ought to be the first one without a doubt. What else in the market? Obviously, like I said, when the Fed starts hiking, in the past, the market's dropped 15%, 45%, 50%, 20%. It's had some pretty serious declines. Now, two of those were directly associated with 9/11 and the subprime crisis. So that's a big contributor. But you get the same idea that when the Fed starts cutting, it sees something bad coming up that it's trying to mute or avoid or reduce the impacts. What to invest in? Well, if you're a conservative investor, You can leave it in money market or short-term treasuries. They're still paying, 5%. For those who want to hold some asset, probably gold or even Bitcoin.
No.
Now I know I know some people are like, Bitcoin, I just don't know if I can. Well, this is, Bitcoin started at the end of 2009. And here it is in 2010, and you can see it's going for 6 cents, 5 cents. So basically, in 2010, if you invested $100 in Bitcoin, you would have 1,000 coins. Those 1,000 coins right now would be worth $45 million.
But Clay, you had to be the Domino's pizza guy.
Yeah. Most expensive pizza in the world. The first business transaction using Bitcoin was one guy who had a bunch of Bitcoin wanted to use them to buy pizza. And this was back when they were, 6 or 7 cents. So he offered 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. Took a couple of days, but some guy took him up on it. Now, anybody want to guess what those 10,000 Bitcoin are worth now?
45 million.
No.
How much?
Add another zero.
4.5 billion.
450 million.
Yes, but as Melissa said, SBF has tainted that for life.
Well, he didn't taint Bitcoin.
No, but you can't even kind of sort of get into Bitcoin anymore.
Yeah, you can.
Well, you can do like $20, but that's not going to get you crap.
It'll get you more crap than $20 in a stock. Maybe.
Maybe.
$20 is $20. But
dig it up, but I can gift it up. Well, Carson, do you just hate us or what? Like, what is your, or are we just being like shadow banned by YouTube?
I don't know. Don't know why Carson can't receive memberships. Does it give you an error message or anything?
It just seems like, I don't know why you can get gifted on other channels, but not ours. That just seems, I don't think it's YouTube that's hating you. I think it's YouTube that's hating us.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, Bitcoin's not for everybody. And here's the risk. I mean, in the end of 2017, it went up to, $18,000.
By the way, this comment, he's talking about Bitcoin. Don't anybody take that weird? Because I said you can't really buy Bitcoin unless you have a ton of money. Okay, weird Carson. You have to get the option. It's YouTube. Yeah. Every time I look for the gifting option in this channel, it doesn't show. That is so messed up. I'm telling you, we're
determined despite Ellen, I'm
this.
determined to finish this point on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, popped back up 12,000, dropped down a little bit to 8,000, 7,000. Then it went up to 63,000. Dropped down 31, went up 67,000. Dropped down 15,000. Now it's 45,000. Over the past year, it's up. Is it 140%? So yeah, the coin is volatile. But we are entering a year in which it undergoes a halving. Halving is when it cuts the amount of Bitcoin it pays for people to operate the system. And usually when it does in those years, it experiences really, really strong gains. So, but the idea is some people think, oh, Bitcoin's just a fad. There are billions and billions of dollars put into mining, producing, managing Bitcoin. The SEC has agreed to have funds created that consist of Bitcoin. It is not going away. China has tried to ban Bitcoin 3 times. No luck. The US has tried to restrict it several in different ways. No luck. So, for those who think Bitcoin is a fad or is not going to last, there's over 1 million computers running the software now. That's what makes it so hated by government, because no government controls it. No single company controls it. No single person can control it. It's extremely distributed. That's what makes it so safe as well. And, Amazon takes it, Tesla takes it, tons of companies take it in exchange for goods and services. Now, is it something you want to use to go buy a loaf of bread? Probably not.
No.
But in terms of if you've got money to save and put away for 5-10 years, is it something you want to do? That's a whole different scenario. Something you might want to consider. Melissa, maybe I should start Pugcoin. Well, Elon's starting Xcoin.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
He is.
jeez.
Well, it kind of makes sense because he is trying to turn Twitter into a one-stop for life.
Right.
To be the arena for free speech and news, to be the arena. He's trying to turn it into the arena for free market, exchange of goods and services. To do that exchange, instead of having international currency exchanges, you just use Xcoin. They'll maintain an exchange in Xcoin between all the different currencies, so you don't have to worry about exchange rates or whatever. You just use Xcoin.
But then you got to have the whole blockchain thing, and
Oh, it's a
right?
relatively simple program.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Did not know that.
So he's trying to turn X into the one-stop shop for internet. Everything people need or want available on one site. Now, that'll give him obviously great advantages, great information that he can use in marketing goods and services.
Right.
So it's kind of a brilliant plan, but it's going to take some time, but it's coming. But digital currency is coming.
I mean, how do you even set that up? Like just being a human?
You mean Bitcoin?
Any kind of coin.
Well, it depends on the coin.
Let's say Melissa wanted to start Pugcoin. How do you do that?
Let's see. Hold on.
I mean, just hypothetically, how does one create a coin? I mean, it's not an actual, I guess it could be an actual coin, but.
Well, if you want to download Bitcoin's software and run it, all you do is click this button.
What's that run you?
Free.
Really?
It's free.
Melissa, Pugcoin might be a thing, honey.
Now, if you want to do your own coin, you can take this basic software and edit it.
So you got to have some people that write code.
Yeah. You can take Ethereum, and Ethereum was designed to do different types of coins or contracts. So you can take the Ethereum code and adapt it to your particular new coin. Oh,
I don't think you won't do it. I'm just trying to lay it all out for you here, honey. That's I ask questions to get the answers.
But yeah, it is.
Oh, your brother's the IT guy. There you go. Bro's the IT guy. There you
Yeah,
go.
I don't know if he does coding or if he does hardware or if he does networking
Probably all the
or
above.
whatever. It's hard to find one person that does all, but the Bitcoin core is not complex.
I have a feeling that Melissa's brother is probably in between your age and mine and probably knows all the things
Maybe.
because we had to.
But in terms of establishing and running, Bitcoin, now that's the process called mining. You run the software and it downloads the database. The database is the blockchain.
That's what I thought. Yep.
The blockchain is basically the general ledger. It's all of the transactions. And it uses a pretty extensive encoding process going through 5 different encryption steps to encode each transaction. That's one reason why it's so unhackable.
I'm not sure I can show this if it maybe just quickly.
Cool.
Understood.
Microsoft.
We don't want to throw that, get him in any kind of trouble at all.
I mean, he can do coding independently on his own. I don't think Microsoft bars anybody from, doing that or running Bitcoin. They may, but not that I'm aware of. So
I just don't know enough about it to,
Yeah. I'm just saying if you have a computer, you can download the software, the core, click on it, install it, execute it, and it runs in the background. It downloads all the data of all the transactions that have occurred. You become one of the million computers storing this data.
Oh, so you're actually putting yourself into the Bitcoin network
Yes.
with your own coin.
Well, it's not your own coin, it's Bitcoin.
No, she's talking about Pugcoin.
First, you got to understand the basics, and then you extrapolate from there. Where's that mute button? So you're one of the million computers. That's what makes Bitcoin unhackable. Because if all the data is stored in a central server or a central location, you hack into that one computer, you can change the data. You're good. Bitcoin, you have to hack into 1 million computers simultaneously, which is impossible. Also, if one computer's data differs from the other computers will kick it out of the network and will not allow it to join. So if somebody tries to edit the information on their computer, they're kicked out. They cannot process any transactions.
Sorry. By the way, thank you, Elon Musk. We are live on Twitter.
Oh, got that worked out.
Yep. Well, I did tag him. I'm like, dude, come on. We had 17 watching, so that's cool. Oh, we got 12. I'll take it.
Green Bean wants his face on some cash. How about digital coin? Would he be happy with that? It would make a damn cute coin, I gotta admit.
It would.
So
little green beans.
Yeah, some of the other coins do have a more centralized network, but Bitcoin doesn't. So that's kind of why Bitcoin has endured, why other coins have come and gone. Bitcoin keeps enduring. It's still the standard.
It was the first,
most popular.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the first. Oh, there's a whole
that works too.
Yeah, there's a whole story on Bitcoin. Maybe we ought to do a night on Bitcoin and just start with how it was created, kind of the basics of how it runs and operates. But for those of you who want to buy an asset, there's a decent chance, a good chance that as people become more scared and abandon the dollar, I haven't even talked about Biden this past couple of weeks has been trying to get the G7 to meet. Right now, $300 billion in Russian reserves are being held. They've been denied access to it. They can't withdraw it, but it's still, in reserve. Well, Biden is trying to get the G7 to agree to give it to Ukraine. And if they do that, I'm pretty confident that will end up destroying the dollar, because there's a lot of, we've talked about how countries are leaving the dollar because Biden has weaponized the dollar, used it against Russia. And no country wants to use a currency that can be used to harm them in international trade if DC doesn't like their political policies.
Oh, that's weird.
But if Biden gives away the Russian reserves, that will only hugely accelerate that, because the dollar will be completely untrustworthy. No foreign country will trust the dollar. So if the dollar loses its status as a reserve currency, or, it's been eaten away a lot, it's been weakened a lot, losing share. If that continues, that's going to hurt the American consumer. Foreign goods become more expensive. That's inflation. U.S. financing, instead of companies having dollars that they need to invest, and so instead of buying treasury securities, they'll buy something else. So that increases interest rates. It increases the cost of servicing government debt. So it's just, there are no advantages to doing that. It's a way to stick a needle in Russia's eye, but it will only further make them more hateful of this, drive them closer to the Chinese, have all sorts of negative long-term repercussions. So we haven't even begun to talk about that.
Let me just do something real quick. Apparently, if people have questions on X, they show up in this chat as well, which I just learned. You see the X by my picture?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, because Rumble hasn't figured that one out yet.
Nope.
So
neither is YouTube.
Anyway. YouTube, no, that's what we get from YouTube. Most of these are YouTube, or all these are YouTube.
Yes. You're right. You're right.
X, I didn't know that their comments showed up in this chat, which is kind of cool. I like that. That is really cool. I know.
Yeah,
apparently,
that helped us.
Yeah, Elon's got it all figured out, but we need to talk to Candace's husband about Rumble, because he can't figure it out. Because I just put that question on X and did not realize that it was going to show up here. So that's pretty cool. I like it. Learn something new every day.
All right. So if you want to buy some asset and you're worried about the dollar, you're worried about U.S. stock markets, then probably gold or Bitcoin would be, two ideas that you could consider. Anybody have any questions on any of that? Or on X? Or anything else for that matter? This is, after all, your night, your time for Q&A.
I do want to say again that the link at the top, pinned to the top of the YouTube page, is Love Pug Circus, and Melissa, who is one of our members here and subscriber. And, everybody needs a little help sometimes. So if you guys don't mind, just, if you have anything you want done or made, or just want to buy some merchandise from her, that is where it is pinned to the top of the YouTube. And she loves doing new stuff and doing new graphic work. So reach out to her. Oh, this is not even real. I know, I saw this.
Yeah, saw this on the interwebs today, and I want you to look at this picture. It's, troops, supposedly Israeli, patrolling in Gaza, moving down the devastated streets of Gaza. But if you start looking at it closely, you notice some interesting things. First of all, this character in the back, if you blow him up,
He has no legs.
he has no legs.
Neither does the other one.
Not only that, but the overall image, I can show you in a movie better than it otherwise.
What? No, the guy on the other side is totally fake.
If you look at it, the layout of the design of the picture is actually creating the image of Bush being told
good
about
God.
9/11. See it one more time?
I just can't. I can't. That's terrible.
And if you look at it from a distance now, you can see it clearly. Can you not?
Oh, I hate you. Yes.
That's cool as hell.
Oh my God, I will never unsee that.
See the man leaning over in Bush's ear?
Yes, I do. It's awful.
Well, that's how you know it's AI, an AI
That's
picture.
mocked up.
This is how you know it's propaganda. It's subliminally trying to communicate information to you. A message.
But you see the guy on the other side, which like barely has anything at all going on. The one you showed, the other side. Okay, go over. That guy.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? He has no legs.
No, and his back is to you.
Mm-hmm.
This guy looks like his back is to you as well. So
it's just like
it's kind of weird. Yeah.
I didn't see. I saw that today and I was like, the answer is 2. There's 2 people there. That's it. God, I will never unsee that. I hate you for that. Okay. Exchange rate between Gringotts gold and US dollars.
Well, just in closing, when you see a picture that, we're really going to have to be careful what we look at, because people will increasingly use these pictures to create subliminal messages and to try to convert you to their particular perspective. The idea no longer is just being a journalist and presenting the events. It's persuading and shaping, molding public opinion. That's dangerous. That's highly dangerous.
Fucked up. I'm sorry. Gringotts gold is in Harry Potter, Boo, in case you didn't know that.
Yes, I was.
I heard you clacking the keys.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Okay, no more Harry Potter references. We're going to have to ban those.
Melissa, he was all into like, what is it?
Finally thought there was,
like, He's like, why don't I know this? So,
that was a severe blow to my ego. Thank you.
It was. Melissa, high five. Good job.
So
you made me laugh.
Anybody have any other non-Harry Potter questions? Ask me about Jerry Maguire.
Who was the guy that played the football player that Jerry Maguire was made to scream, "Show me the money." What's the
Oh,
actor's
geez.
name?
I don't remember.
C. G. J. You're looking it up. Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, yeah. I was not looking it up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's add HO to the movie list.
Wait, and before that, every photo, video, conspiracy theory that shows up in her. Oh God, I'm sorry.
Well, she is not alone. They do this crap because it works. You know? And
She said
it creates impressions in your mind.
she meant Harry Potter.
Oh,
Maybe list.
yeah.
Clay was finally made to watch that by my daughter. Every single one in one night.
And I remember almost nothing about it.
None. Yeah. Cubs goofing Jr. Absolutely.
But I love the movie. It was a great movie.
Yeah, he just likes to show me the money.
And you had me at hello.
You hate that.
No, I thought it was epic.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, it was a Sunday. It was quite a marathon. She literally made him sit there and watch all of them.
I'm not going to say it was painful, because
He found some
wasn't a bad series.
Yeah, enjoyment in it, which was good. Because I was like, if you don't even like find this somewhat entertaining, then you and my daughter are never going to connect on anything ever.
And it was funny to me. I saw somebody talk, or I heard J.K. Rowling talk about how difficult it was to kill somebody off in a book, in Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody took the Harry Potter series, and on every page where somebody died, they put a little tab, like one of these little sticky notes. And there was, a couple, one in each book. And then they took the Game of Thrones guy. Who was the guy that wrote Game of Thrones? Oh, geez, I can't think of his name. But it was a stack of books as well, probably about the same height as the Harry Potter series, maybe a little higher. But each book had like 100 or 200 little, sticky notes indicating a death on that page. Yeah, tons of deaths. So it was just kind of funny to see her talk about how hard it was to kill somebody off. And this guy makes a damn living off of killing people off. So, but I admire her. It's an interesting series, and the more you watch it, the more you get into it. There's some stuff in the background going on that makes you think that you have to connect, or you can connect once you understand it enough. So it's kind of cool. It's not just a trivial series. She put a lot of thought and effort into it. Yeah, the psychology of it is fascinating. And I don't know.
No, Melissa, we'd love for you to come over. You can come check out Wilmy Wood, do all the things. Your friend played James Potter, and the psychology is fascinating. True.
So,
there we go. Sorry,
But yeah, it's a well-written series, and I do have high respect for her for that. It wasn't really quite what I expected, but I won't admit that publicly, even though I'm on video saying it.
No, he won't. Yeah, it's a thing. I just work around it.
All right. Anybody have any more questions? Now, remember, if you have some questions, even if it's not during the show, you want to email us, you can email us at moffatonmoney@gmail.com. You can DM me on Twitter with any questions or whatever. We'll be glad to, cover them, talk about them, whatever. This night really is for you.
Twitter at Moffat on Money. What else do we have?
Email or Twitter.
Is that all we have?
Yeah. You can always leave a comment under the videos on YouTube.
We see those.
Or
and books are
now
deeper
on
than the
Twitter.
films.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melissa's right about that. Of course, Clay's never read the books.
Never read the books.
My daughter has read them all like 3 or 4 times.
She absolutely loves everything to do with Harry Potter. She is.
I think we bought her like
That's
this whole series, and there was another series too. It may have been, oh Lord, something. I can't think of it right now. I think it was like a Marvel series or something.
Yeah, book club.
Book club. Clay is gonna.
We could spend a year on Harry Potter.
If you guys know Alita Legal Bites, she has spent over a year on the Menendez trial every Monday for like 4 hours, and we're a year into it, and it's like, okay, I just can't anymore. Like it's just a lot. So I'm not opposed to Harry Potter at all. And maybe we could do the movie thing. If you'll set up the Discord and let us know, we can do the movies. That's so much easier. Today was Menendez Day. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the movie would probably be easier because we have trouble getting people to read, 100, 140 pages.
Much less 400.
Yeah.
Never going to happen.
So we need to keep the books of modest size and detail. So, but I do hope you all will join us.
Yeah.
Do hope you all will join us Tuesday night, the 9th. The problem of pain. That'll be a fun topic, an interesting topic.
Was that next Tuesday?
Timely topic. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And we will actually post a link to Zoom. We don't do this on YouTube, so that people can actually, you don't have to show your face, but we can all talk about how we feel about it and what we think, and have like a real book club scenario. So yeah, that is totally want everyone here to be there. And like I said, we will post that, or have you posted already, the link? I thought you already did it.
Yeah, I want to say I did, but I won't swear to it.
Well, we will repost it. How about that?
And we'll post it on Twitter.
We'll post it on Twitter. We'll post it everywhere, and look forward to seeing all of you. And we will see you on Saturday. So
let's learn swoops, Melissa. Get us a swoop. But seriously, really appreciate, y'all spending the night with us. Enjoyed it. Enjoyed having you. We are thankful. If you have other questions, let us know. Before you leave, if you will, do the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe. If you like, subscribe. And we love you guys.
We do love you. And we're grateful to have you guys here.
Hope y'all have a great week ahead. Our time is up. We thank you for yours. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Scott.